but you don't want to have them over if something is happening. That's why fire mitigation is so important before something happens. So that's why we sat down and spoke to Michelle Steinberg. She's a Wildfire Division Director, National Fire Protection Association, and hear what she has to say about mitigation.
Well, Michelle, we're so happy to be talking to you today. Here in Colorado, of course, wildfires are something that we are consistently concerned about. So this is something that, we're so excited to be able to share and talk to you about in terms of preparation. So how big of a problem are wildfires?
Wildfires in the United States really are becoming more and more of an issue for just about every state. And what we're seeing more frequently is times of year and places that we just don't expect. And so we are seeing, unfortunately, increased loss of property and damages as time goes on.
Okay, and that, of course, is so scary for all of us, especially those that are living in those zones. So there's an important day coming up. Can you tell us more about Wildfire Community Preparedness Day and what we can be doing to get prepared?
Right. Wildfire Community Preparedness Day is the first Saturday in May. This is a 10-year-old campaign now that really rallies people to get together with family, friends, and neighbors to work on projects that can reduce the fuel for a wildfire when it enters the community. So there's many, many things that people can do, and people really enjoy having a dedicated day set aside to do that.
Yes. Michelle, let's talk about specifics. Because I know a lot of folks at home watching are wondering what they can do. What are some ways that people can protect their homes?
Some of the most important ways are simple things. Getting rid of debris in gutters, for example, clearing out sort of the first 5 feet near your home. It's a small space, but it's critical. The science shows us that this is where, when flames approach or embers blow in, that they can have the most impact. And so getting rid of anything that can catch fire in those areas is really critical, as well as working across the fence line with your neighbor. And literally, if there's a combustible fence that you share, making sure that is clear of any debris, maybe thinking about replacing that with an alternative that won't ignite from a wildfire.
Sure. And I'm assuming that these areas in particular are home ignition zones. Can you talk to us more about these particular areas and these zones?
Right. Home ignition zone is a term that we coined to describe what the science says about homes igniting and what we can do to prevent it. Because if we can keep the home from igniting, we don't let the structure burn. In other words, it's not going to be able to burn. So if we get rid of that fuel, like the debris in the gutters, like maybe there's things on your porch that could be moved or stored away, or under the porch, keeping debris from piling up there, because that's where the embers will go in a wind-driven wildfire. All of these pieces, it's the home itself and everything around it within about 100 feet. And so some people share that zone with a neighbor. And so working together is really going to start to bend down the risk across the entire neighborhood.
Yes, I couldn't agree more. Now, Michelle, I think a lot of people you think to themselves, I'll save this project for the weekend, or maybe I'll do this another time. Or when we do have a drier, windier day, they'll say, okay, maybe today's the day to do it.
Right. So we encourage people to get together with neighbors. Obviously, Prep Day is a great time to do it on May 4th, but anytime pre-season, if you will, or before we have the conditions that a wildfire could ignite. We definitely don't want people to be working with any kind of machinery that could throw a spark or heat things up during a hot, dry, windy day, because that itself could start a fire.
Yes, definitely. So doing things in preparation well ahead of time is definitely worth it. Michelle, any other tips that you have for us? Any other last minute messages?
Well, we really are excited about particularly Colorado this year. NFPA sponsors Wildfire Community Preparedness Day with generous support from State Farm, and a number of Colorado-based organizations have received money to then work with communities that they work with across the state. So that's super exciting, and we hope people will find out more at nfpa.org/wildfire.
Wonderful. Michelle, thank you so much for helping us be prepared for the wildfire season. We really appreciate the work that you guys are doing.
Thanks. My pleasure.
Okay, good stuff, Danny. And for more information on fire safety and preparedness, just head to nfpa.org.